Today I bought 100,000 Algorand, and I'm going to tell you why I think Algorand is the top pick when it comes to blockchains and one of the biggest potential coins for the next year and 2 years as we move into a crypto bull market. Now, before we jump into all the details of Algorand and things, I just want you to consider basically a strategy of how I'm investing in crypto. Basically, you can see over on CoinMarketCap, there's a number of different categories of cryptocurrency. As you are probably aware, if you're subscribed to my channel, which you should be, and if you're not, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. Then you'll know that I'm heavily into GameFi. I'm heavily into metaverse tokens because that's where the biggest shift is going to come from in the next 2 years, in my opinion. And on CoinMarketCap, you can see all of these different subcategories down below. So come across, have a look, and identify tokens within each of those different niches. You've heard of Ethereum, you've heard of Solana, you've heard of Hedera. Blockchain technology is an essential part of cryptocurrency in general, and basically the future of various things like Web3. It means that there's going to be one or two absolute massive winners when it comes to the blockchain technology. So picking the winner is basically essential. And if we look into this picture here, you will see that there is basically a trilemma. When it comes to things like Ethereum and Solana, there's been a problem always with blockchain technology in that it's easy to perhaps gain two of these different things, but to gain all three at the same time can be very, very challenging because being heavily decentralized can limit your scalability. It can also increase costs. So for example, Ethereum having extremely high gas fees. However, if you're able to be hugely scalable like Solana, then you will also have problems such as security. Solana struggles with security. Algorand is pretty much the only blockchain to hit on all three of these areas. And you're right, HBAR, which is a hash graph technology, doesn't really suffer from these problems either, but I do have a little bit of a problem with HBAR. A lot of the tokens are basically held by the founders. That I don't like so much. We think about what happened with FTX, basically holding a ton of Solana tokens. It went under, it dragged Solana really aggressively towards the downside. Doesn't mean Solana can't continue to grow from now, but it definitely had a huge negative impact. So Algorand basically the only one true blockchain, in my opinion, that can nail decentralization, security, and scalability. But it's also a fairly underhyped token when compared with the likes of Ethereum. And jumping across to the Algorand chart, and we have talked about this in my Telegram group, which is linked down below, absolutely free, so make sure you get involved with that Telegram group. We're talking about things all the time. A recent scam that we've seen, which will be linked to the end of this video if you want to go find out about a crypto scam and how to spot one, and all sorts of other things. I'm also going to be bringing in a trading course for free on that Telegram group as well, so make sure you're getting involved in that. Right, we can see this is a fairly interesting looking monthly chart for Algorand. Now, you can look at this stuff on the left-hand side, and obviously we saw basically Algorand plummeting down from this kind of launch here. But let's look at the kind of the true data, right? Now, what we can see is basically a similar thing that happened to Bitcoin and basically every other crypto, right? We saw a big spike around the sort of time Bitcoin peaked, everything else peaked, and then from there, Algorand, along with everything else, fell down to current levels, which is 92%. 92% discount on this particular token. Incredible, right? What I want to show you is basically the difference between this Algorand chart and basically what we're seeing on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has done something quite interesting. While it's fallen down, it has sort of flatlined a bit, but it has started to spike already. We've already got a lot of interest going into Ethereum. And that's because we have lots of hype coming about Ethereum in the very near future with the Shanghai hard fork, various other bits and pieces happening. And we've also seen Ethereum being dragged up by the rest of the crypto market more aggressively than we have with Algorand. And while everyone loves to talk about all the coins that have pumped and all the things that are going on right now and that are very exciting, actually, the secret to making money in crypto is to look at the stuff that's not been that exciting recently. Look at the more boring tokens, and that's where you'll find your winners because they're yet to pump. If you can find a solid project, perhaps lacking the hype of another, it will eventually get there, and then we're going to see some incredible booms, in my opinion. And this is the main reason why I'm looking at buying Algorand. And that's pretty much it, guys. And I'm going to tell you how to find a very good entry for this coin or any other coin that you happen to be looking at right now. And I've talked about this before in the concept of supply and demand trading. If you want to know more about supply and demand trading, let me know down below in the comments if you want me to explain more about what supply and demand trading is. What we can see looking in this chart is things of interest. Now, supply and demand basically shows us that at certain areas we're going to see pumps towards the upside, big pumps. Here we can see one that comes from this. Now, as we dip down into here, we can see a very aggressive pump out. This shows me that somewhere in this zone, we are likely to see a nice bounce for Algorand. And I think that we could perhaps fall down a little bit further, but I didn't really want to miss out, and maybe I did FOMO in a bit because I could have got in maybe 7% cheaper than I did. But I feel realistically we're going to be putting in a bounce here, and then we're going to form something kind of interesting. Now, whether or not you see this as what I see it, which is basically a cup and saucer pattern, okay, this is basically a nice bullish pump, and we will see if it does this, the height of this, and we'll break towards the upside from the neckline here, bringing us into this area of interest here. But instead of waiting to the top of the pattern, because I understand the concept of where a buy zone is, then I can see that I can actually potentially get it down here, and then I can see 85% up to here, rather than getting in at the neckline and then getting my 43%. Now you're probably saying, well, that's not a lot. Why Algorand are we going to get so excited about? Well, now back to these highs up here, you're looking at 10x. And yes, Ethereum, various others will also see a very big pump towards the upside. But I feel Algorand has suffered a bit because in the past it's lacked the marketing that Solana, Ethereum, and various others have got into. If you ask 99% of people who are invested in crypto how a blockchain works, or specific details of a particular cryptocurrency and why they're invested in HBAR or why they're invested in Gala, they won't be able to tell you. They'll usually just say, I'm invested in that because most of the YouTube videos seem to be about that. Fair enough, this is actually very important because actually most people who are invested in crypto don't know anything about crypto. No offense to you if you're one of those people, you represent the majority of people, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to make money because you're paying attention to videos right now, and that's when you need to be paying attention to videos if you want to make money in crypto, because it's the bear market. Still, we're yet to confirm our way out of the bear market and into a bull market. But because of the network effect going forward, because Algorand will see good growth along with the rest of crypto, and they've already identified that their marketing strategy and things perhaps was a bit poor in the last market, we can see that maybe, just maybe, that if they can change that up, then we will see a project absolutely storming ahead of everything else. If we can see them delivering levels of marketing like we saw from Solana in the last bull market, then we're going to see a very, very aggressive pump from Algorand indeed. And if we're going to take a swing low down to a swing high, due to the fact we saw such an aggressive move down for Algorand, I do think that from current levels, we're going to at least hit the 1.618, which is a 16x. Realistically, there's no real limit on how big this goes because it depends on the rest of the crypto in general. What's very exciting about cryptocurrency going forward and how we know that each time pretty much you're guaranteed to have higher highs is because of the network effect. If you think about crypto, maybe you've only been in the market for a couple of months, but you've probably got a friend who's been in the market for like 2 years, and maybe they've got a friend who's been in the market for 4 or 5 years. Very few people will tell you that they were in crypto in 2013. And every time we get a cycle in the market like this, you get tons more people coming in. It's the network effect, right? More people telling their friends, more people getting excited, more news available, YouTube pumping out videos, all sorts of people talking about the potential that crypto holds. The network effect guarantees us almost that each market cycle is going to be even bigger and more money is going to flood into it exponentially each time. And this is going to continue for the next 5 years, 10 years, who knows? But there's a great opportunity if you can pick a few winners in certain categories. I told you to look into GameFi because GameFi I see as being a main winning area when it comes to the metaverse development. Stuff that supports Web3 development, also very important. And maybe one blockchain, maybe a couple of blockchains. If you don't invest in Algorand and you think, oh, Ethereum's the only blockchain for me, fine, that's okay. It's still going to make you money. Just seeing the potential for Algorand being significantly higher because I think Ethereum has already seen a bit of a pump this year. And I think that Algorand is down on itself and has a great opportunity going forward. And if you're looking to buy Algorand and other cryptocurrencies, then get across to FairDesk, link down below in the description. You'll be able to get very cheap fees as well. If you go through my link, you're going to get VIP access, which means that you will be able to save a great deal on fees. And believe me, once you get into trading actively in crypto markets, when we get into bull markets and things get very exciting, well, you want to guarantee that you're going to get the lowest fees because it's actually going to make a lot of difference later on in the day. Also, you can come and use the copy trading function. We can follow this guy who's made $53,000 for his 24 followers in just the last 7 days, and this is his other account. And you can see he's made $40,000 for his 3 followers in just 7 days as well. If you want to be one of those guys, then get in through the link down below, come across to FairDesk and sign up. Obviously not without its risks. Always do your own research before investing any money, especially in cryptocurrency, which is not just a guaranteed money-making machine. It's hugely risky, And believe me, I've definitely been burned in the past, so be very, very careful. Guys, if you enjoyed that video, hit the thumbs up button for me. Thank you very much for doing that. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe. Get into my Telegram, link down below in the description, absolutely free. And let's make the most of this crypto bull market working together. I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye-bye.